I am Jenna Bosonko, and this is QTV Midday News coming to you live from our studios on Kairaba Avenue. Thanks for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed your public holiday. And now, here are the main news headlines. The United Democratic Party lost its court case to overturn the presidential election after the Supreme Court dismissed their petition. The Gambia Food Processing and Marketing Corporation, formerly called the Gambia Groundnut Corporation, on Friday visited two secos in the communities of Bakau Njogu and Fas Chaho in the North Bank region. The University of the Gambia and the United Nations Development Programme Graduate Internship Scheme has officially ended. And 17 community ambulance drivers in the North Bank region have received training on the use, management and minor repairs and maintenance of ambulances, which were donated by President Adama Barrow during his Meet the People tour in September. Those were the main headlines, and now the news in detail. Just stay with us. Thank you for joining us. This is QTV Midday News, and I am Jenna Bosonko. Now, in a unanimous and much-awaited ruling, the Supreme Court of the Gambia on Tuesday struck out the UDP election petition with an award of $100,000 cost for the petitioner's failure to comply with a mandatory requirement of the election petition rules. Mamadou Lamin Choi has the rest of that.
On Tuesday, with a panel of 5 justices, who have unanimously sent down a ruling that nullifies the UDP election petition, which sought to invalidate the 2021 presidential election result. The legal issue for determination on Tuesday is not on the merits of the filed petition, but motions, one of which signaled to the court that the mandatory requirement of the election petition rules was not complied with by the petitioner, the UDP. The motion was filed on Tuesday, December 21st, and it asked the court to dismiss the election petition for failing to comply with the requirement to give notice to the first respondent, President-elect Adama Barrow, of the nature and of the security provided within 5 days after the presentation of the petition, in accordance with requirement of Rule 11 of the election petition rules. In determining this motion, the Supreme Court holds that this requirement is mandatory and that the petitioner has failed to comply with it. The ruling further states that non-compliance with Rule 11 is fatal to an election petition. Also, in its ruling, the court references the requirement of the election petition rule, previous cases and judgments in the Commonwealth to arrive at the conclusion that Rule 11 is indeed mandatory. The court adds that the rationale of the election petition is, quote, to give the respondent the required information to know what is alleged in relation to him or her, so that he or she can have the opportunity to consider and present a response if considered necessary, unquote. Consequently, the court strikes out the UDP's election petition against Adama Barrow, the IEC and the Attorney General, and awards a legal cost of $100,000 against the petitioner in favor of the president-elect. The cost, according to the court, will be recovered from the deposit of $300,000 lodged with the court as security by the petitioner. Tuesday's ruling means that the election petition filed by the UDP is invalid, and it paves the way for President-elect Adama Barrow to be sworn in as president for a second term. Reacting to the ruling, in a statement shared on the UDP Facebook page, Oseno A&M Dabo is quoted as saying that, quote, we have directed the jurisprudence of this country. We have directed how the constitution of this country should work. We have not lost anything because the petition was not dismissed based on merit, but a mere technicality. We should be proud of ourselves for what we have done and will continue to do for country, unquote. In a Twitter post, President-elect Adama Barrow tweets, quote, I am pleased that Gambians have decided our democracy works. Citizens can rely on our judiciary to lay their complaint and justice would be served. Thank you, Gambia, for your trust in me. Mamadou Lamin Choi, QTV News.
Mamadou Lamin Choi there. Now, the Gambia Food Processing and Marketing Corporation, formerly called the Gambia Groundnut Corporation, on Friday visited two secos in the communities of Bakau Njogu and Fas Chaho in the North Bank region to witness the process of this year's groundnut marketing season following the harvesting of the crop. Yaya Jawa went with the team and he fastened this report.
After what many refer to as a successful farming season, farmers in Pakaonjogu and Fas Chaho have begun selling their harvested groundnuts to the Gambia government at $28,000 per metric ton. Officials say this increased price, up from last year, has been welcomed by most farmers across the country. Fatim Lee, the sales and marketing manager of the Gambia Food Processing and Marketing Corporation, says the visit is part of the GFPMC's efforts to get first-hand information on the activities at the sectors and also assess the year's marketing process for transparency and accountability. She added that she is impressed that the farmers of these two communities have turned out in large numbers to sell their produce to the GFPMC. She attributed the development to the high price paid by the Gambia government for this year's season's crop and stated GFPMC's expectation from farmers in the North Bank region.
Taking into consideration of the stock of fertilizer that was delivered at Bara during the trade season, which was one of the highest depot intakes of fertilizer. So we believe that the tonnage that GGC should acquire from North Bank will be very high compared to other regions.
Samba Faye is the Ajib Bank supervisor, supervising over 25 sectors within the Bara and Kerewan circle. He also delivers cash to the sector agents on behalf of the bank for on-the-spot payments to farmers coming to sell their groundnuts to the GFPMC. He explained to us the partnership between Ajib and the GFPMC.
The relationship has been going for a while, and I believe it has been mutual because Ajib Bank is one of the banks that have been here for a very long time. So with GGC coming up partnering with Ajib, I think it's a very worthwhile venture. So it is just to help farmers to, whatever they produce, they get their money and take care of themselves. So the partnership, I believe, is worthwhile, and I believe it's a partnership that's going to take a very long time.
The Alcalo of Pakaonjogu, Momodu Aidaba, expressed delight at having a sector in his village for the first time, adding that the development will help ease the problem of farmers traveling long distances to sell their produce, made harder by the current poor road network around the area. He, however, made an appeal to the Gambia government regarding the supply of fertilizer.
This time around, what we will appeal to them is, once they have their sectors all over, and fertilizer is presently at the depots, if they can at least supply their sectors fertilizer so that any farmer who sells his nut will have the access to purchase fertilizer and then store it at home. That will minimize, the irregular, movement of fertilizer outside the country or elsewhere. That I will appeal to GGC.
Abdul Aziz Seka, the second president of Pakaonjogu, and Mohamed Jah, the second president for Fas Chaho village, both expressed delight towards the quick process of this year's groundnut marketing season. They, however, urge the farmers to be patient while waiting for their money after weighing their groundnuts, adding there is little or no delay in payment with Ajib GFPMC partnership. Mohamed Jah, the second president at Fas Chaho, says he has so far received more than 310 metric tons of groundnut at his sector and expects more deliveries before the end of the trade season. Reporting for QTV News, I am Yahya Jao.
I can see Yahya Jao there chewing some fresh groundnut. Now, the University of the Gambia and the United Nations Development Programme Graduate Internship Scheme has officially ended. The last 24 UTG interns graduated at a retreat in Mansakonko. Our regional correspondent Bakari Balde tells us more.
The UTG-UNDP Graduate Scheme Internship Program gives students preliminary work experience by giving them placements with a variety of organizations. In early July 2021, graduates from the University of the Gambia were deployed to local councils for 6 months to serve as interns in different areas of specializations to fill the capacity gaps within those councils. This pilot program has been held a great success for giving students work experience, which will help their future employment. Osman Jassi, the former president of the UTG Students Union, advocates for continuation of the program.
Now the final year students are now benefiting from this, and it is now going to be a continuous process. And this is why this graduate scheme is very much important.
Associate Professor Mohamed Mustafa Fanne, the Dean of the School of Business and Public Administration at the UTG, explained how the students were selected for the internship and the need for such interventions in other institutions through government support.
Before we send them, we train them. We have a 1 week training with them. Before training them, we also did the interviews, we advertised, and there are so many people, the students that applied. It was more than close to 400 applied, but we screened them up to we have 56, and that's what we interviewed at Kairaba, and we were able to screen and pick 24, and we deployed them in different rural areas. And what we see at the end, that they are so happy with what we did with them.
On behalf of councils, Landing Bisane, the Gambia Association of Local Government Authorities, GALGA president, who doubles as the chairman of Mansakonko Area Council, outlined the significance of the UTG-UNDP graduate scheme.
Bearing in mind that it is going to, and in fact has started, changing the face of our local government authorities, having got some new brains and also fill the gap that has been there for a long time, that we needed to see how we move our councils to the next level. It's very, very timely.
Buba Sanyang, the permanent secretary at Ministry of Local Government and Lands, stated that the ministry will continue to support such initiatives and has word of advice for the youths.
This project has come to empower you, the youths. Gambia is a youthful population. And the youths, when you don't take chance of your opportunity, we will keep recycling the old ones, because we were not going to leave the gap to be open. So you take your charge and then take your places. The development of this country naturally falls in your shoulder. The enabling environment, now there are a lot of infrastructural development in the rural areas that will enable us to perform our duties.
Abdou Toure, representing the UNDP country representative, talked about the role of the UNDP in the graduate scheme, assuring the gathering of the UNDP's support to improve lives and livelihood.
Supporting local government system, decentralization, is a priority, as Pierre said. It's key, in fact, it's an output of our UNDP program, and we'll continue to invest in this area.
The benefits of this initiative are that it builds capacity, fills capacity gaps for hosting authorities, and creates job opportunities for UTG graduates. Reporting for Qtv News, I am Bakari Balde.
From that story by Bakari Balde, we will now go for a short commercial break, and when we come back, we have some more stories for you. Do stay tuned.
Looking for the fastest and easiest way to receive money transfers from abroad? Well, QMoney and RIA just made it happen. Now you can receive international money transfer from RIA directly into your QMoney account with no additional cost. Once you receive an SMS alert about your transfer, walk into any QMoney agent across the country to receive your payment for free, or use the money immediately to buy credit, QPower, and other QMoney services. It's fast, safe, and convenient. For more info, call customer care on 133. QMoney, Sinu Calpe. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV Midday News, and I am Jenna Bosonko. Now, the Ministry of Youth and Sport, in partnership with the National Enterprise Development Initiative, Midday, has completed a 5-day business development plan training course for youth business owners in Pakalinding in the Lower River region. Our regional correspondent Bakari Balde attended the closing ceremony, and he tells us more.
The training brought together 25 entrepreneurs from across the country to equip them with the basic skills and knowledge on how to run a successful business. The sessions were very interactive. Ida Jeng, the program officer at NEDI, explained how the participants were identified and the commitment they showed during the training.
Some of them in the agricultural value chain, others in fashion and fabric. You have some of them that provide services like installation, printing, or car wash businesses, and you have some into natural skincare products. So this is where we base our selection, and it tells everything.
The regional youth coordinator for LRR, Fabakar Sane, outlines the benefits of skilled jobs and the impact of the training.
Skill is one of the recipes that can emancipate these young people, especially in this country, to become self-reliant. On behalf of the Regional Youth Committee and the Ministry of Youth and Sport and the Regional Youth and Sport Office in LRR, I thank you very much for your commitment and your time. And when you go back, you will try to follow up. Business plan is every time to update. And I want to see you all success in that endeavor.
Abbas Ba, the General Manager of the National Enterprise Development Initiative, NEDI, outlines the objectives of the training and its significance.
This training is different from the other training that we used to have. This is a business development plan. A business development plan means that you are already in business and you want to develop to grow your business. We can all agree that without a good business plan, your business will find it very difficult to develop. Understanding the importance of business plan, that is why NEDI organized this training.
In his closing remarks, Sekou K. Sanyang, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Youth and Sport, stated that the Ministry and NEDI came up with this initiative to help young business owners to have the expertise to develop their own business plans, to be self-reliant and create job opportunities. He assured the participants of the ministry's support.
Most youth-owned businesses fail because they are running businesses without business plans. We all know. However, this is what this business plan training is trying to change by ensuring that the youth-owned enterprises are run profitably and sustainably to create a long-term employment opportunities for our young people. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, finally, I wish to assure you that the government of the Gambia will continue to support the aspirations of the young people of this country to enable you to acquire decent employment opportunities and a high standard of living.
Lamin K. Drame gave the vote of thanks on behalf of the participants.
This training will help us to guide us a lot of challenges we have in before, because during our training we have learned a lot of things which we don't know before.
After undergoing rigorous training, these entrepreneurs, all of whom were awarded certificates, can now develop their own business plans to attract grants and other fundings where necessary. Reporting for QTV News, I am Bakar Balde.
Now, 17 community ambulance drivers in the North Bank region have received training on the use, management and minor repairs as well as maintenance of ambulances, which were presented by President Adama Barrow during his Meet the People tour in September. Don Williams has the rest of that.
Common complaint in the Gambia is the lack of a maintenance culture, leading to the abandonment of donated equipment, machinery and vehicles. 17 community ambulance drivers receive theoretical and practical training on the use and management of the ambulances to enhance durability of the vehicles. Michael Mendy, the trainer, explains the importance of the training.
The purpose of the training is for them to know how to manage these vehicles, how to take good care of them, and how for them to stay long with us here in the Gambia as a community property. We want to make sure that these vehicles have a good lifespan in the Gambia and have a better use or better purpose of them being sent to the Gambia here.
Musa Jawara, a workshop supervisor and technician, reminds the drivers of their daily responsibilities.
It's not a difficult training, it's just a basic training on the driver's manual that what frequently a driver should do on the vehicle. Like, for example, the checking of oil, the limits of the fluid levels, the maximum and the minimum level. We make sure that we identify these things to them. And the other thing is to show them the facilities that are in the vehicle, that they can use it, effectively, and we make sure that, no one abuses these facilities at no point in time. At least if they have proper knowledge about what they do on this vehicle, we will not run into such problems.
Ibrahim Hussein, one of the trainee drivers from Jokado, gave his view on the training.
Training bi na nekk na training boo xamanteni training bu am solo la.
The training is very important because it is about how to take care of the ambulances and the services needed to operate effectively. As a driver, this training will help me a lot.
So, jare ci training bi ni daf lay dimbalé bu baaxa baaxa baax.
Abdullah Jaju, the Director, Regional Health Directorate, says this is the first time such an event has happened in his region.
This training for the drivers, for the community drivers, is very, very important in the sense that I know some of them have been drivers for a long time, and some of them also have been sitting down without driving. So I think the Ministry of Health found it very necessary for the drivers to be trained. So this is why we are having the training today. About 17 drivers are trained in this region. So the training was very successful. They were oriented on the traffic laws and also the signboards. And also the important thing about it was how to take care of the ambulances. They are also managers in their own jurisdiction. So I think this is the most important thing.
Ambulances can rapidly transport first responders to the scene, carry equipment for administering emergency care, and transport patients to hospital. According to President Barrow, among the objectives of these community ambulances is for quick response to emergencies. Don Williams, reporting for QTV News from Farafenni.
Great initiative there. Now, Mustafa Gassama is a 3-year-old child diagnosed with congenital heart defect and a bad defect in which some nerve cells are missing in the large intestine, causing a child's intestine unable to move stool and becomes blocked. Ajibintu Drame visited the family and she fastened this report.
According to a medical report from Carnifin General Hospital, Mustafa had been admitted at the neonatal ward when he was a week old because his inability to pass stool since birth. He had been reviewed by surgical doctors after about 3 days, but there was no improvement. During observation, the child was also diagnosed with Down syndrome and Hirschsprung disease. Hirschsprung disease is a birth defect in which some nerve cells are missing in the large intestine. So a child's intestine can't move stool and becomes blocked. A colostomy, which is an opening in the belly via surgery, was done for the child. Mustafa's mother, Hawa Nyasi, is a single parent. She explains the effort she has made without success to get her child treated. The child has been sick since birth. He had abdominal swelling. He underwent an operation. We have been admitted 20 times at the Carnifin General Hospital and at Banjul several times too. We have also taken him to Dakar, but there has been no improvement. He also has a high fever, continuous vomiting and body temperature above 39 degrees Celsius. We're just from the hospital last Tuesday. The doctors told me to seek support for overseas treatment. Through the help of a friend, Hawa was not able to contact a surgeon in India because she does not have the money for the overseas treatment. I met a friend at the hospital whose child had similar problems. She sent me the information of the doctor who performed surgery on her child. She said if I have sponsors, we can go to India. However, we have not contacted the doctor yet because I have been seeking support for quite a while now. I am pleading for help from anyone who can help. Maimuna Baji, the child's grandmother, further explained some of her grandchild's ailment. The child is unable to talk. I just wish people could help us, for God's sake. He should be playing with other kids. Sometimes he wants to play, but I'm always scared that some kids might wound him. To help this child, you can contact QTV on 3333245 or email news@qtv.gm. Ajibintu Drame, QTV News.
Before we end this news bulletin, let's take a look at our main headlines. The United Democratic Party lost its court case to overturn the presidential election after the Supreme Court dismissed their petition. The Gambia Food Processing and Marketing Corporation, formerly called the Gambia Groundnut Corporation, on Friday visited 2 sectors in the communities of Bakaunjogo and Fas Jaho in the North Bank region. The University of the Gambia and the United Nations Development Programme graduate internship scheme has officially ended. And 16 community ambulance drivers in the North Bank region have received training on the use, management and minor repairs and maintenance of ambulances, which were donated by President Adama Barrow in his Meet the People tour in September. That is all we have for you in this edition of Midday News. Join us at 8 p.m. for more news. Have a nice day.